Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys come to the vibes. Let's get pretty into them.
Hey, welcome, you now the vibes. Welcome to my girl Pretty in Tune channel, where she keeps you up to date with the hottest tea. Download keep you all tappin' and shit. We stay lit on this channel, so fuck with Shan and stay updated. She will have you laughing and emotional all at the same damn time. So let's get pretty into in this motherfucker. You know the vibes. My bish, gon' take it from here, queen in this fish.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. It say Texas governor signed the law making illegal immigrants a state crime. Trump is removed from 2024 ballot. Okay, so he will not be a runner for the 2024. The border is still getting out of hand. Let's get pretty into it, guys. So let's go talk about it. First, we're gonna talk about Texas governor. Okay, Texas governor just signed a law in motion where they can now give immigrants jail time if they come over here illegal. But let's go ahead and let's go ahead and check out the video, guys, together.
And the battle over immigration at the U.S. border with Mexico continues, and waiting for Congress or the Biden administration.
It's totally fine.
And the battle over immigration at the U.S. border with Mexico continues, and one state is not waiting for Congress or the Biden administration to act. Texas has a new law that allows the state to arrest people suspected of crossing the border illegally. And as our Ed O'Keefe reports, it sets the stage for an immigration policy showdown.
From the campaign trail to the halls of Congress, the fight over security at the southern border is heating up as the clock is ticking down to get a funding bill passed that also includes aid to Israel and Ukraine.
Finding the middle ground is exceptionally hard, and both sides must accept that they will have to make concessions.
We cannot afford to get this wrong.
On Monday, Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott signed two border bills into law. One providing $1.5 billion to build new barriers along the southern border. The other makes it a state crime to cross the border illegally, giving local law enforcement greater authority. Critics say that could lead to racial profiling.
Biden's deliberate inaction has left Texas to fend for itself.
The move comes as data obtained by CBS News shows last week the Border Patrol apprehended nearly 7,900 people each day, up from 6,000 daily in October.
We built a tremendous piece of the wall.
And as former President Donald Trump is facing criticism for how he described migrants, the Biden campaign compared it to Nazi rhetoric.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America.
But a new CBS News poll finds a majority of GOP voters in early voting states do favor the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants.
We don't know where these people are coming from. They're exhausting our system.
In Washington, CBS News has learned the White House and bipartisan negotiators are discussing changes to immigration policy that could include expelling migrants without processing their asylum claims. The deal being worked out in Congress could also expand the detention of migrants allowed to stay in the U.S. pending a decision on their cases, but the president's walking a fine line here, as progressive members of his party, Latino lawmakers and activists are warning him not to sign off on Republican demands, or he could face suppressed support for his reelection next year, Anne Marie.
And, you know, that's the question that I wanted to ask you about. You know, what sort of rock and a hard place is President Biden in when it comes to negotiating some sort of immigration policy changes while having it intertwined with international aid?
I mean, they're not happy about it here at the White House, but they were the ones to propose this back in October when he presented Congress with this massive emergency aid bill that would have provided tens of billions of dollars for Israel, for Ukraine, for Taiwan, for disaster relief, and for border security, thinking that by extending that olive branch, perhaps they'd get what they needed. Instead, it's turned into this broader policy debate that puts the president in a real bind. He doesn't like this issue. He doesn't like talking about it, doesn't like negotiating over it, and he himself has done very little of the detailed work here, leaving it to Congress to do so with the Homeland Security Secretary, the Chief of Staff, and just a handful of others. He's made some phone calls, but not deeply involved in the process so far.
All right, Ed, thank you very much.
So I totally agree with what the government of Texas is doing right now, because everything is getting out of control. Like, you literally have the cartel coming through and literally smuggling drugs and bombs. So it's like it's getting out of hand. Now I'm gonna play this Trump video, and I feel like this situation go coincided with what is happening to Trump, my opinion. So let's just go play because Trump has been removed from the 2024 ballot.
First, the Colorado Supreme Court disqualifying President Trump from their state's 2024 primary ballot. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution says office holders cannot support insurrection. And the judges say that Trump did that with his actions on January 6th. Trump campaign calling the ruling a, quote, scheme to interfere in an election on behalf of crooked Joe Biden. With more, we are joined by a constitutional law expert, Loyola Law Professor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, good to see you. We've never seen anything like this in U.S. history. Can you break down what the court is saying here?
So exactly as you said, the Colorado Supreme Court is looking at the 14th Amendment. This is a post-Civil War portion of our Constitution, and it was meant to prevent people from the Confederacy from serving in government again, saying essentially, if you're trying to destroy our government from within, then we don't want you representing it. And so it says if you engage in an insurrection or if you give aid or comfort to those who do, then you are disqualified from appearing on a ballot. We've applied this, for instance, in New Mexico to much lower positions, for instance, to a county supervisor, I believe. But obviously, we've never been in this situation before. The Colorado Supreme Court, as you know, stayed its decision, meaning it doesn't go into effect until January 4th, giving time for the inevitable challenge to the U.S. Supreme Court.
But just to be clear, Donald Trump has not been criminally convicted of insurrection.
Nor do you need to, I think, under the best reading of the 14th Amendment. If I look at the 14th Amendment, I look at its purpose and why it's there and how we've used it in the past, I don't think that's a threshold to apply the 14th Amendment here.
Okay, so we've seen, this is Colorado. We've seen similar lawsuits in other states, including in California. Could something like this happen here?
Potentially. I think, again, we're waiting on the U.S. Supreme Court, and my best prediction is that they will find a reason, and I'm not sure which one it is, but there's some likely suspects, to overturn the Colorado decision. Alex, I'm sure you remember in 2000, Bush v. Gore, the U.S. Supreme Court essentially decided the presidential election. It caused a crisis of legitimacy, and that was after people voted. I don't think the U.S. Supreme Court wants to make a decision that takes this option away from voters, that makes it look like they're not letting the electorate use their fundamental right to vote. So it could happen in California. I don't think it's going to.
And it should be pointed out as well, Donald Trump put 3 of the justices on the U.S. Supreme Court right now, and there's a Republican supermajority, at least a Republican-appointed supermajority. They, of course, say that they're not partisan, but sometimes prove to be.
So it will be really interesting to see how this breaks down, because, of course, this question of interpreting the 14th Amendment shouldn't have anything to do with your political ideology, but obviously it has huge political implications. I suspect we will see maybe something more like a 5-4 decision, but there's a couple of different paths the U.S. Supreme Court could take. They could say that this wasn't an insurrection, or that Trump didn't give aid or comfort to those who engaged in it, Or, as the lower court said in this case, that this provision doesn't apply to the presidency, that it applies to other offices. So there's a lot of different routes for the Supreme Court to take here.
Yeah, you're the person who studies the legality of all this. As the guy that studies the politics of this, assuming what you're saying is true and the Supreme Court says no to this and he is on the ballot after all, this only helps him politically. It brings the Republican Party even closer to Donald Trump, and every time the court has ruled against him, his party has rallied even more. So it's crazy to think that a disqualification from the ballot could turn out to be a political win, but that may have been what the Colorado Supreme Court just handed Donald Trump. Jessica, thank you so much for your perspective on this. Really appreciate the insight.
Thank you.
Now, I truly believe that they had removed Trump off the ballots because due to this law just not getting passed up in Texas, right? Where they can now give these illegal immigrants, they can serve time for, being here or coming up in here illegally. So they had asked about deportation. And a lot of people was behind Trump. Like, if Trump is, running for office, we're going to be 100 behind Trump, because we is for the deportation and sending these immigrants back home into correcting the mess that Biden has done. I feel like they had to hurry up and get him off the ballot. But we do know that it is loopholes that they can take, which we clearly just see. So that gives me hope to know that Trump is not fully, because Trump is going to fight whatever loophole there is. That's the route he's going to take to, win and have victory with what's coming against him with all this opposition. Okay. But at this point, something has to be done. I salute Texas government for making that step. And they said that they not wait for the Biden administration to pretty much give them the call to do it, because Biden is not doing anything. Okay. Biden is not doing anything. And he see what's going on. And these governments, they tired. These states who got all these immigrants, they tired, and they see that these people is going to be more so a burden up in the end than anything, especially with the fentanyl rate has doubled. Okay. All the drugs that are being smuggled up in the U.S. Okay. They had just about found bombs at the border. Okay, that's why I believe either the mayor or the governor of Arizona had called the state guard there, okay, to patrol, because this how bad it is getting. It was bad, but it's getting out of hand, especially with all these immigrants is at the border right now. Okay, y'all check this out.
It's a 5-alarm fire, according to Border Patrol agents, with sources telling Fox News Monday set a new record for daily migrant crossings, all as the total encounters in December, usually a quieter time at the border, expected to set another new monthly record.
The New York Post says the record numbers prove President Biden has waved the white flag and his administration is ignoring the laws and just letting everybody in. Bill Malugin is live at the border in Lukeville, Arizona for us. You've been seeing these large groups of mostly adult men cross all day, Bill. What exactly are you seeing there?
Well, Sandra, you can see over my shoulder we have another group of adult men who have crossed illegally here, and these border numbers are just spiraling out of control. In the month of December, we are currently averaging 10,000 migrant encounters every single day. This is the situation here in Lukeville. A lot of these adults coming in from all around the planet. Actually had a couple of guys from Afghanistan out here a little bit earlier. They are considered special interest aliens. They will be subject to additional vetting, but we'll show you how all these guys got here. Take a look at this footage we shot just a couple of hours ago. They were part of a group of 500 that crossed illegally early this morning through an open breach in the border wall cut by smugglers. They then marched up here to this outdoor Border Patrol processing area where we're standing right now. Some of them had their iPhones out. They were taking selfies, sending images back home to let folks know they had arrived here successfully in the United States, as this Tucson, Arizona sector just remains overwhelmed in the epicenter of this border crisis right now. More than 2,800 illegal crossings yesterday alone. We actually had a chance to catch up with. Where do you guys want to go in the United States? What city?
California.
California? California? Everybody here, California?
Yes.
New Jersey, Seattle, New York. Okay, and why did you guys come here to the U.S.?
Sorry? English, no.
English?
No English.
Do you want to work?
Yeah.
You want a job?
Yes.
No. No? What? No? You don't want to work? Why'd you?
Life danger.
Life in danger. And then take a look at this. We talk about how backlogged the asylum system is. This is a notice for a Colombian woman who crossed illegally and was released into the U.S. for her to check in with ICE in New York City. And look at the date, 2031, 8 years from now. I talked to her immigration attorney. He says he was left absolutely stunned, and he's been doing this job for almost 30 years. Take a listen.
They gave her a return notice to come back in 2031. So that's quite possibly the most unusual thing I've ever seen in my near 3 decades of practicing immigration law. It made me realize that the Biden administration is basically providing backdoor amnesty for anyone that wants to show up at the border.
And John and Sandra, one more thing to note. Last week, Arizona's Democrat Governor Katie Hobbs announced she was sending the National Guard down here to the Arizona border. I can tell you we've been here in Lukeville all week long. We have not seen a single National Guard soldier out here yet. We'll send it back to you.
Hey, Bill, it's John. Let me come back to the conversation that you had with the illegal immigrants who came from India, where you were asking them, are you here to work? And they're like, yeah. And then the one fellow pipes up and says, oh, no. Life danger. I mean, we all know that in order to qualify for a claim for asylum in this country, you have to demonstrate what's called credible fear. Did that sound like it was coached to you?
It did, and that happens a lot. These migrants are told by the cartels what to say when they get here on U.S. soil so they can be released into the United States. And credible fear is one of those thresholds they have to meet. They do these initial credible fear interviews out here in the field. And look, if they come here and say, no, I want a job, I want to work, that does not qualify for asylum. So some of these migrants know they're told what to say when they get here. And if they say, my life is in danger, or I'm in fear of my home country, they feel that's a box they can check in order to get asylum and hopefully be released. And you just saw that court date, or not a court date, an ICE hearing for 8 years from now in 2031. It's ridiculous how backlogged the system is.
I mean, when you put this in perspective, Bill, as we're heading into the final days of the year here, as we remind our viewers, you wouldn't be seeing this happen unless we had drone images like this that our Fox flight team is providing for our viewers and really for the country and the world to see this happening. But when you put this in perspective and you see what cities like Chicago are dealing with, they're blaming Texas for busing these migrants up there. They're saying they're at capacity. They've received to date 26,000 migrants, they say. You've got 12,000 a day. Record numbers pouring over a day at the border. Yet you have some of these blue cities and blue states saying it's Texas's fault.
Yeah, well, look, a lot of these blue cities have been getting reality checks, right? I mean, a couple years ago, you had New York City Mayor Eric Adams tweeting that New York City will remain a sanctuary city under his administration, and they'd be proud to do so. Now he's saying, quote, the city is going to be destroyed. This is coming to your neighborhood. Katie Hobbs has been critical about what other Republican governors have done at the border, particularly Governor Abbott. Now she's sending the National Guard down here to the border, or allegedly. We still have not seen them yet. So, yeah, I mean, there was no criticism when the blue city of El Paso was busing migrants to New York City. They bust tens of thousands. There was no criticism when Katie Hobbs, a Democrat governor of Arizona, kept Governor Doug Ducey, a Republican's busing program, to also bus migrants out of Arizona. So the criticism only seems to be at Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis when they move migrants around the country, despite the fact that Democrats have been doing it and the federal government has been doing it as well with NGOs.
When you take a look at that group of people.
So we see 12,600 immigrants is coming to the border daily. That is overwhelming, and a heck of a lot of immigrants that are literally seeking asylum, and they pretty much train from the for the cartel. A lot of these people are big time drug dealers that are coming over here acting like they want asylum due to being scared, but it's all coach. Okay. Yeah, so put up in the comments how you feel about the border, Trump, and Texas governor passing the law to now literally lock up immigrants that come in here illegally. Put up in the comments, y'all. Don't forget to like. God is good, y'all. So I must have been asking God, like, make me victorious. Okay, yeah. Like and share and subscribe. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking to grow your business, check this out really fast.
Hey, hold on right there. Did you know up to 95% of the people who visit your site are leaving without buying? The painful reality is that when it comes to getting quality leads and buyers, it's tougher than ever these days. Old and outdated methods like pop-ups, pop-unders, overlays, and strategies such as scarcity devices and countdown clocks, among others, simply don't work anymore. If you're not grabbing your visitors' attention, you're leaving a whole lot of money on the table. Adding a fully interactive and automated intelligent chat agent to your website can help drive up your results, sales, and lead signups. 3D Chat Agents is a groundbreaking new smart chat automation technology that leverages the power of industry-leading features like artificial intelligence, text-to-speech, talking 3D avatars, instantaneous lip syncing, one-click translation to deliver results like no other app on the market. 3D Chat Agent will act as your very own virtual concierge to easily get more of your visitors to engage and take action rather than click away from your site. Improve user experience, boost engagement, and increase customer satisfaction as well as sales. What are you waiting for? Contact us now to get a 3D Chat Agent installed for your website. Don't miss out. Leverage this ingenious cutting-edge technology to turn your website's visitors into sales. Contact us now for an introductory special deal. Thank you for checking this out.